Most of you know that I grew up in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery, outside of a little place called Troy. My father was a sharecropper, a tenant farmer. When we was growing up and visited the little town of Troy, or visit Montgomery, or Tuskegee, I saw those signs that said white men, colored men, white women, colored women, white waiting, colored waiting. Well, asked my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents why. They would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in trouble, don't get in the way. But in 1955, 15 years old, in the 10th grade, I heard a Rosa Parks. I heard the words of Martin Luther King Jr. on the old radio. And the action of Rosa Parks, the words and leadership of Dr. King inspired me. So on a Saturday morning, I boarded a bus. I traveled from Troy to Montgomery. This is in March of 1958, during spring break. I was 18 by then. And a young lawyer by the name of Fred Gray, who had been a lawyer for Rosa Parks and for Dr. King and the Montgomery movement, met me at the bus station and drove me to the First Baptist Church in downtown Montgomery. And Dr. King said, "Are you John Lewis? Are you the boy from Troy?" And I said, "Dr. King, I'm John Robert Lewis." And he started calling me the boy from Troy. It was in Nashville that I got involved, studying the way of peace, the way of love, studying the philosophy and the discipline of nonviolence with many black and white students, college students, and high school students. We started sitting in, had test sit-ins in the fall and winter of 1959. And the first time, someone would come up and spit on us, light a cigarette out in our hand, or down our backs, pour hot water, hot coffee, hot chocolate on us. And then we heard that we may get arrested. The only place is you would see photographs of signs like these. It would be in a book, in a museum, or on a video. They're gone. So when people tell me nothing's changed, I feel like saying, come and walk in my shoes. I came back in 1963 with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others. Met with President Kennedy. And we told him we were going to have a march on Washington. He didn't like the idea of bringing hundreds and thousands of people to Washington. But we marched. The march was very successful. At the end of the march, I spoke number 6, Dr. King spoke number 10, and out of the 10 people that spoke that day, and no one's still around. But when the march was all over, President Kennedy invited us down to the White House, and he stood in the door of the Oval Office, beaming like a proud father that everything had gone so well. And he kept saying, "You did a good job, you did a good job." And when he got to Dr. King, he said, "You did a good job. You had a dream." It was my last time seeing President Kennedy. He was assassinated in November 1963.